to have those one-page notes with you. And I said that you can read those steps again in your manual there at that paragraph 3. Steps that should be followed on day of registration is basically exactly what I have written down here on this one-page document. I want you to have that steps on side next to you. We are going to look. There's nothing go from the day of registration that we are going to do, and it's not provided for in those steps. Everything that we are going to do, we'll take it from the steps. Now, let's start with step number 1. Step number 1 says withdrawal of the trust investment and the interest. So far, we know that we have invested for the purchaser, we also invested for the lender. That means we are going to do this exercise for both two clients, lender as well as the purchaser. Now, let's start at the purchaser's investment account. Now, let's start at 1.1. Withdrawal of the invested amount. Withdrawal of the invested amount. Withdrawal of the invested amount. Let's go to the amount that we have invested on behalf of the purchaser. How much have we invested for the purchaser?
50,000.
That means now we are going to withdraw that 50,000 that we have invested on behalf of the purchaser. And when you withdraw in the investment account, are we going to debit the investment account or are we going to credit it?
We are going to credit it.
Correct. Let's go to the investment account on behalf of the purchaser and credit that account. Therefore, you go to the credit side and you write 26th of July. And then you say withdrawal. You say withdrawal and you say 50,000 rands. Now, you are withdrawing this 50,000 rand from your investment account. Where are you going to take this money to? Where are you going to receive this money?
In your trust
cash book.
Trust cash book. That means you are going to debit your trust cash book. Do we see all right there? And therefore, you created your investment account. Now, you created your investment account there. Withdrawal of 50,000 rands. You credit there on that investment account, and we all agree that now you are going to debit your trust cash book, which means you are going to receive that money back into your trust cash book. Remember, when you invested, you took it out of the trust cash book. Now you are going to take it back to your trust cash book. Now you can't go on your trust cash book on the debit side, which is the left-hand side. Start with the date, 26th of 7. Okay, section 86, investment. 86 for investment. The purchaser, 50,000 rands. Section 86, investment for the purchaser, and then you will debit that amount of 50,000. That means now you are receiving that money back into your trust account, into your trust cash book. You are receiving that money back into your trust cash book. As soon as you debit your trust cash book, that means you are done with step number 1.1. At step number 1.1, you simply withdraw the invested amount by crediting your investment account with the amount you invested. And then you receive the money back into your trust cash book by debiting your trust cash book. Therefore, step number 1.1 is done. You will see there on those steps, I said 1.1, withdraw the invested amount. We know so far how much is the invested amount. How do you withdraw it? You say, credit the investment, yes. Credit the investment ledger with the invested amount and debit trust cash book with the invested amount. That's why I'm saying we are done with 1.1. Now let's go to 1.2. Let's finish that step number 1 with this first client. 1.2. How much is the interest? Because we must receive the interest, isn't so?
Yes.
Yes.
How much is the interest that we earned in respect of the purchaser?
5,000.
5,000.
5,000 rand. Thank you, Michelle. Now we are saying this 5,000 rand, in which account must we receive this 5,000 rands?
On the TCP.
The trust cash book.
Correct. You must receive this interest in your trust cash book. Correct, Luis? And this 5,000 rand interest that you receive in the trust cash book is because it's client's money. That's why you are going to receive it in your trust cash book. Now, you receive the 5,000 rand in your trust cash book. Do you debit or credit your trust cash book?
You debit.
You debit.
Debit. Interest 5,000 rands. You debit your trust cash book with that 5,000 rands, the interest. You debit your trust cash book, correct, Luis? You are right. You debit your trust cash book with the 5,000 rand. And when you debit it here, it simply means you are receiving that 5,000 rand interest in your trust cash book. Now, after receiving it in your trust cash book on the debit side, what do you do with that 5,000 rands?
You split
You split it.
95% to LPFF.
Okay.
95% goes to
95% or 95% to the
purchaser,
purchaser,
5% goes to the legal,
Yes.
Correct. Let's quickly assist Alvira there. Alvira, let's go back to that question again. Let's look on the 26th of July. They say the transfer and bond are registered. You account to Mr. Seller and Mr. Purchaser. Deputy Mr. Purchaser a fee of 2,000 rand and Mr. Lender a fee of 300 rands. You receive 5,000 rand interest from Mr. Purchaser. That's where we got that fee, 5,000 rand. So the facts told us that the interest is 5,000 rands. Okay, thank you. Now we're saying we are going to split it on the 95 and 5% interest, isn't so? The 95% will be credited to the purchaser, and then the 5% will be credited. Okay, Alvira. The 5% will be credited to the legal purchase fidelity fund, section 86.4 interest account. Now, the next question is, how much is the 5% of 5,000 rands?
4,750.
4,750. That means the 4,750. That is the 95%. Sorry, the 4,750 is the 95%, and the 5% is 250. Now let's start with the 95%, which we all agree is 4,750, isn't so?
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, Sharon, the 5,000 rands, we got it on the 26th of July. If you read on the 26th of July, they say, you account to Mr. Seller and Mr. Purchaser, Deputy Mr. Purchaser a fee of 2,000 rand and Mr. Lender a fee of 300 rand. You receive 5,000 rand interest for Mr. Purchaser. That's where we got that 5,000 rand. And with that 5,000 rand, we debited our trust cash book. After debiting our trust cash book, because the investment was in terms of section 86.4, now we apportion it on a 95 and 5% split. Now the 95% of 4,750. We all agree that it must be credited to the purchaser. Now let's go to the purchaser's trust ledger account and credit it. Let's go to the purchaser's trust ledger account on the right-hand side, which is the credit side. Yes, the interest, you will always be given the value of the interest in the set of facts. We will not ask you to calculate the interest. It will always be given. Now, on the credit side of your purchaser's trust, again, 26th of July. That interest, or that 95% interest, which is 4,750, and then XTCB. Now for interest, or 95% interest, credited on the purchaser's trust ledger account. Credit the purchaser's trust ledger account with that 95% interest of 4750 XTCB.
Advocate,
Yes.
I just want to check the 5,000.
Yes.
If you calculate the 95%, is it that supposed to be 4,500 in the credit side on the purchase trust ledger account?
4,005.
Yes.
Now you recalculate it again. I think you got the wrong one. 4,005, maybe 4.5 should be to 10%.
Yes, 4,500. It means it's 10%.
Yeah, so we only need 5% because remember we credited 95% on the. Sorry, we must credit 5% to the Legal Practice Council. So yeah, we need that 95%. Okay. Now we have credited the purchaser with that interest of 4750. Now the balance thereof of 250, we say it must be credited to the Legal Practice Fidelity Fund, isn't so?
Yes.
Yes. Legal Practice Fidelity Fund is also a ledger account. And then we are going to credit. We are going to open another T account. We're going to open another T account for the Legal Practice Fidelity Fund. Let's open another one there. Let's open another T account. Then you say LPFF section 86 sub 4 interest account or interest. Legal Practice Fidelity Fund section 86.4 interest account. Legal Practice Fidelity Fund section 86.4 interest account.
Is this 86.3 or 86.4, advocate?
No, it's 86.4. Remember,
Okay,
this interest comes from that investment in terms of section 86.4.
For the client.
Yeah, that we invested solely for the benefit of the client. So you open 86.4.
Thank you, noted.
Okay. Now on this section 86.4, we are going to credit. We are going to credit here that on the 26th again of 7, that 5% interest. We all agree is 250 rand XTCB.
Yes. Advocate.
Yes.
Can you go back to the purchaser's interest?
Purchaser interest.
The 95% one. Yes.
Yes, the 95% which was credited here.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Now you open the investment, the section 86.4 interest account on behalf of the Legal Practice Council, and then you credited there that amount.
It ends up all go 250. Oh, okay.
Why
Yes.
don't you CBT?
So what we have done here Let
Why
me
don't you
explain.
debit it, advocate?
Why do we?
Why don't you debit the
Because
LPFF?
we are not paying it. When you debit, you are saying I am paying. And if you debit that ledger there, it's going to reflect a debit balance, and it cannot reflect a debit balance.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember what we did here is that we received the interest of 5,000 Rand a year on the debit side of your trust cash book. That is the interest. And out of that interest of 5,000 Rand, we are saying 95% of that interest must be credited to the purchaser. And when you calculate 95% of that, it gave you 4,750 Rand. And that 4,750 was created here on the purchaser's trust ledger account. And then we say, what do we do with 5%? And the 5% we calculated it to be 250 rands. What do we do with the 250? The 250 must be credited to the legal practice Fidelity Fund Section 86.4 interest account. That's when then we went and opened this legal practice Fidelity Fund Section 86.4 interest account. On this interest account, we created with the interest of 250. As soon as it's created there, it shows that we are holding an amount of 250 for the legal practice Fidelity Fund.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is 100%.
Now now we are done with step number 1 for the purchaser. Let's do the same thing with the lender.
Yes.
We also invested for the lender. It says, thank you, Zed. It says there, withdraw the invested amount and the interest. 1.1 says, withdraw the invested amount. And how much did we invest on behalf of the lender?
200,000.
200,000 Rand. Now we need to withdraw the 200,000 Rand, isn't so?
Yes.
When we withdraw the 200,000 Rand in the investment account, do we debit the investment account or do we credit?
We credit.
We credit it.
Correct, Mbali, we credit. We are going to credit it, Mbuyisi, correct. Now go to your Section 86.4 investment account on behalf of the lender. Credit it on the right-hand side. Write the date, 26th of 7. Withdrawal. Withdrawal, that is 200,000 Rand. Now, we have credited our investment account on behalf of the lender with 200,000 Rand. Who must be debited? Where are we going to take this money to?
The trust cash book.
The trust cash book. Now, in our trust cash book, are we going to debit or credit our trust cash book after crediting our investment account?
We
Debit.
Debit.
We are going to debit. In other words, we are going to receive that 200,000 Rand back into our trust cash book. Let's all go to the trust cash book and debit the 200,000 Rand. On your trust cash book, on the left-hand side, which is the debit side, you are going to record that 200,000 Rand. 26 again of 7, the section 86, sub 4 investment, lender. That is 200,000 rands. Now, after crediting your trust cash book, now you debit your investment account. You debit your investment account. You debit your investment account with the same amount. Yes, Carla, at this stage you withdraw the whole amount to your trust cash book. If they told us that we need to leave it in the investment account, and then they will have told us with respect to the lender, only withdraw a certain amount. If that statement does not say only withdraw that, then You just withdraw the whole amount. Now the 200,000 rand has been debited in your trust cash book. Now how much is the interest earned from the 200,000 rand?
10,000.
10,000.
10,000 rand. You will see it's there in your exercise. You receive 5,000 rand interest from Mr. Purchaser and 10,000 rand from Mr. Lender. That is the interest. Now, in which account are we going to receive that interest?
Trust cash book.
Trust
Cash book. We debit or credit our trust cash book with the interest.
Debit. Debit.
Correct. Interest 10,000 rands. You go on the debit side of your trust cash book. You debit there 10,000 rand interest. That means you are receiving that 10,000 rand on the debit side of your trust cash book. Now, after receiving it on the debit side, what do we do?
We split it to the lender's trust ledger for 95% and then 5% to the LPFF.
Correct. As soon as you receive that interest like that, then you split it in terms of the 95 and 5% apportionment. 95 to the lender and 5% to your legal practice fidelity fund. Now the question is, how much is 95% of 10,000 rands?
9.5.
9.5.
9.5, Intando correct. Bali correct. Now, we all agree that with this 9,005, we are going to credit the lender's trust, isn't so?
Yes.
Let's go to the lender's trust. Let's go to the lender's trust, and on the credit side of the lender's trust, that is where you're going to record this 9.5, because remember, you are going to credit it as an indication that you are giving that money belongs to the lender. You are not giving them, but you are receiving it on behalf of the lender.
I'm sorry, Advocate.
Yeah.
I seem to be lost here. From the 50,000 rand that we got from Section 86, sub 4.
Okay. Wait a bit there. Wait a bit. Can we please mute ourselves? Can we please mute ourselves? Only the person speaking can unmute himself or herself. Okay, you can start that again.
Okay, yeah. Like I was saying, from the 50,000 rand that we got from the Section 86 sub 4 from the purchaser,
yes,
we said the interest received there was 5,000.
Correct.
Yet from the 20,000 rand that we received from Section 86 sub 4 from the lender, we say the interest is 10,000. What am I missing here? How do we get this interest?
Okay, the interests are in your sets of facts. If you go back to the question, let's go back to the question on the 26th of July. Let's just only concentrate on the 26th of July. They say the transfer and bond are registered. And then you account to Mr. Seller and Mr. Purchaser. Deputy Mr. Purchaser a fee of 200 rand, Mr. Lender a fee of 300 rand. You receive 5,000 interest from Mr. Purchaser and 10,000 rand from Mr. Lender. So in respect of the interest, we will always give you the value of the interest. The value of the interest will always appear in the question itself. We won't ask you to calculate the interest, but it will always be there.
Oh, okay, no, thank you. No, I must have missed that.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks.
Rafire, we are based with the 9,005. That's what we are calculating now. We are saying we received the 10,000 rands, and that the 10,000 rand interest, we debited it in our trust cash book. Now we are saying, after receiving it like that in our trust cash book, now we must apportion it on the 95 and 5%. Now I am saying, what is 95% of 10,000 rand interest? What is 95% of that 10,000 rand interest?
9,500.
9,500. Thank you, Manish Ambali. Thank you. That is where we got the 9,005. The 9,005 is 95% of the interest of 10,000. And who must be credited with 95%?
The lender's trust.
The lender.
The lender.
The lender.
Now let's go to the lender's trust ledger account. Thank you, Refilo. Let's go to the lender's trust ledger account. Now, on the lender's trust ledger account, let's go to the credit side, which is the right-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, we can record the date, the 26th of 7, that interest or 95% interest, 9,500 rand XTCB. And you go to the lender's trust ledger account. On the right-hand side of the lender's trust ledger account, you simply record that 95% interest, 9,500 rand XTCB. Now you credited the lender's trust ledger account with that 95% of the interest. Remember, this apportionment is only on the interest, not on the capital.
Advocate,
Yes.
the Legal Practice Fidelity Fund, is it a trust or a ledger?
It's a trust ledger. It's a ledger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now, we agree that the 5% is 500 rand, isn't so?
Yes.
Now, this 5% interest, it must be credited to Legal Practice Fidelity Fund Section 86.4 interest account. Now, Parker, when it comes to the interest, as long as the interest that you are dealing with is in terms of Section 86.4, you don't need to open the second one. You can go to that very same one, and then you will only differentiate them with your reference numbers. For instance, you can call them with names. You can say the first interest here, you can say purchaser. And the second one here, 26 of 7 interest, and then you say lender. And then you say 500 rand XTCB. So you only differentiate them or distinguish them with the reference number, and in this case you can just use the names of the clients on whose behalf you have invested. It should only be one Section 86.4 interest account where you receive all the Section 86.4 interest account. As you can see there, I just recorded that 500 rand under the 250 rand that we have received from the purchaser's investment. Okay. And as soon as we have recorded it like that, it simply means we are done with step number 1. In respect of both the lender and the purchaser, we are done with step number 1. It means we need to move to step number 2 now. What are we dealing with at step number 2?
Bank guarantee.
The bank guarantee.
Bank guarantee, correct.
See, that will credit our TCB, you will debit our TCB and credit our purchaser.
Correct. You are going to receive the bank guarantee. Seems to be losing my accounts here. Let's go to the purchaser. Let's go to our trust cash book. Let's go to our trust cash book, and we are going to receive the bank guarantee. When you receive this bank guarantee, on which side of your trust cash book are you going to receive it?
Debit.
On the debit side. Therefore, you go to the debit side of your trust cash book, and then you record the date, 26th of 7. You say the bank guarantee or bond. Bank guarantee, and that is 300,000 rands. And who do we credit with the 300,000 rands?
The purchaser's trust ledger.
Purchaser's trust ledger, because this application was made by the purchaser. We are receiving this money from the bank on behalf of the purchaser. Therefore, we go and credit the purchaser's trust ledger account. Let's go to the purchaser's trust ledger account and credit with that 300,000. And therefore, you come here. Here is a debit in your trust cash book, that bank guarantee or the bond, and then you go to the purchaser's trust on the credit side, 26 of 7. That is that bond of the bank guarantee.
Advocate.
Okay.
Hi, advocate.
Yes, yes.
So when we are doing this bond transaction, do we not use the 7th of July, or do we continue using the 26th of July?
No, continue the 26th of July.
Okay,
So
thank you.
You are only receiving it on the 26th. On the 27th, it was just a paper.
Receive on
Yeah.
that date.
Okay. Now you go to your purchaser's trust, and then you credit that 300,000 rand, as you can see there in the purchaser's trust ledger account. It's credited.
Can you raise the paper up again, advocate, please?
John, you are correct there. The legal practice fidelity fund now become one of your trust creditors, because you have credited their trust ledger there. That shows that you owe them that money. So they are one of your trust creditors. Okay, that is your the purchaser's trust. Then it's credited with that amount of 300,000 rands. 300,000 rands. Okay. Now, please, if you've got a question, do not raise your hand here on the chart, because what is happening is that I just have a block here that shows that there are about 237 in that block, and just a hand is on that block. I can't see who is raising the hand. If you are raising the hand, just show that one of the 237 people, one of them has raised a hand. So the hand is not going to assist that much, because sometimes some they raise hands, and even after addressing their problem, they forget to drop their hand. So please, if you've got a question, don't say, "I'm not seeing your hand." I'm just basically ignoring it, because sometimes some they forgot to say anything. Romana, we are there. Don't worry, we are there. Okay, now that was step number 2. We are done with step number 2, where we receive the bank guarantee. With the bank guarantee, you simply debit your trust cash book. You are receiving that money, and then you credit the purchaser trust ledger account, and then click on the heads. I can see it in Bali. It doesn't respond in Bali. Okay. Now you simply debited your trust cash book 300,000 rands, and then you credited the purchaser's trust ledger account, because the purchaser is the one who has applied for that bond. Now, that was your step number 2. Now let's go to step number 3. What we did at step number 3?
The second bond.
The second bond, correct. Do we have the second bond here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. The 150,000 rand second bond. That's the stage where we are going to deal with the 150,000 second bond. Now, I want to read that step number 3 on my one-page document. Second bond, and I said, debit the lender's trust and credit the purchaser's trust ledger. And what is very important there, I said, use a trust journal. Use a trust journal. Remember yesterday I said to you, if it's a transfer, which is a non-cash transaction, of course, if it's a transfer from one client's trust ledger to another client's trust ledger, we need a journal, isn't so?
Yes.
If from one trust to another client's trust, what journal do we need?
Trust journal.
Correct. If you are transferring from trust ledger to another trust ledger, you need a trust journal. Now let's open a trust journal. Let's open a trust journal. Please don't forget to mute yourself. Let's open a trust journal. Going to record a trust journal here for myself.
Advocate,
Yes.
please tell me, would it have been different if, let's say, the firm had the money in the business account for use of the settlement? Was it still going to be a trust account?
The firm had the 150 in their business account.
Yes.
And then the firm is the one that advanced the bond.
Yes.
You should not do that as a legal practitioner. You're going to have a problem.
Okay.
You don't borrow money to your clients.
Okay.
Because the clients will come back and turn and say stories that you will not believe. And the legal practice counsel will always believe your clients over you. Because they assume that you know that you don't do that. Because again, it's going to be some sort of conflict of interest. The same client that you are working for and you are debiting his fees, and the next thing you are borrowing him money. So should not do that. The legal practice counsel will not be happy.
Noted.
Okay. Let's record our trust journal. So in the trust journal, you are going to debit lender trust. And then you create purchaser trust. This is transfer of the second bond. Second bond. You are moving those monies from the lender's trust ledger account to the purchaser's trust ledger account. Remember, the lender now must advance the money to the purchaser as he has agreed. That's why we are moving that value. We are saying to the lender, because we had 200,000 rand for you, you agreed to transfer 150 to the purchaser. Now we are transferring that value from your trust ledger to the purchaser's trust ledger. That's why you debit the lender's trust ledger account with 150,000 rands. And then you credit the purchaser's trust ledger account 150,000 rands. That is in your trust journal then. In that trust journal, you are debiting the lender's trust 150,000 rand, and you credit the purchaser's trust 150,000 rand. That is transfer of the second bond. How did this transaction come about? Let me explain it this way. Remember, yes. Please mute yourself if you are not speaking. Let the only the person that speaks be the one that unmute themselves.
Show us the paper again, please, Advocate.
Now, how did that come about? I am saying we are at step number 3. where we are transferring the second bond. What's very important is that that value of the second bond is already in our trust. Is from that 200,000 rand that we had on behalf of the lender. Now, for you to transfer this second bond to the purchaser, you need to draw a trust journal, which is a non-cash transaction. You need to do a trust journal because you are going to transfer the value of the second bond, which is 150,000 rand, from the lender's trust ledger account. That is why you are debiting the lender's trust. Remember, in the lender's trust or in the trust ledger, debit means you are taking out. Now, we are taking out 150 out of the lender's trust ledger account. And where are we taking that 150 value to? To the purchaser. That's why on the purchaser's trust, we credit to show that we are receiving that value in the purchaser's trust ledger account. That's what you do at step number 3. Because you are transferring from the lender's trust to the purchaser's trust, that's why you need to record a trust journal. In that trust journal, you debit the lender's trust and you credit the purchaser's trust, and that is transfer of the second bond.
Advocate, do we put a date on journal?
Yes, basically, yes. Sorry, I didn't do that. On this journal here, on the left-hand side here, so still put the date, 26th of 7. So still put that date there. Still put the date there on your journals. They also, if there are dates, you should also put a date on your journal. Thank you. Now, as it is in that journal, now you post it to your ledgers. Firstly, it says, debit the lender's trust with 150,000. Let's go to the lender's trust ledger account to debit that amount. Let's go to the lender's trust ledger account. Then we say 26 of 7. And that is transfer of the second bond. Second bond, 150,000 rands, and you're going to credit the purchaser. You go to the lender's trust ledger account and you debit the lender's trust ledger account with that 150,000 rand second bond, and you are going to credit the purchaser's trust ledger account. Now, after crediting that account, and then you go to the purchaser's trust ledger account, you are going to credit. Let's go to the purchaser's trust and credit that 150,000 as stated in the journal. The journal says credit the purchaser's trust. Now we go to the purchaser's trust, we are going to credit 26 of 7. Second bond. 150,000 rands from the lender. Now, you go to the purchaser's trust ledger account. On the credit side, you credited there 150,000 rands. And then you credit there 150,000 rands after you have debited the lender's trust ledger account. Therefore, now that value is now with the purchaser. That's all you do at step number 3. Transfer the loan of the money for the second bond from whoever is advancing that money to the purchaser's trust ledger account. And because it's a transfer from the lender's trust to the purchaser's trust, I said you need to record a trust journal. You need to record a trust journal. To transfer in the trust journal, as you can see, you debit the lender's trust ledger account, you credit the purchaser's trust ledger account. As it is in that journal, simply post it to your ledgers. It says there, debit the lender's trust. As you can see here, We debited the lender's trust here with 150,000 rands that we are advancing to the purchaser. Now, you look here on the purchaser's trust ledger, we credited here the 150,000 rand that we are receiving from the lender. And that is your step number 3. That's all you do at step number 3. Why do we not pay it from the trust cash book? We are not paying. It's a non-cash transaction. We are not paying as yet. It's a non-cash transaction. It's like, how do I put it? It's like you have money. Let's say you've got money. And client number 1 owes you money. And then you owe client number 2. And you are saying to client number 1, don't give me that money that you owe me. Give it to client number 2. So that value now changes. Therefore, it means you are no longer holding that money for this one, but you are holding money for the other one. Let me just say, it's a transfer of a debt, so to say, if you can put it that way easier. Transfer of a debt. Okay, now let's go to, that was our step number 3. Let's go to step number 4. Why do we do a trust journal instead of simply posting to the right account? You can't post it to the right, to those accounts before you do a journal. It's a non-cash transaction. The journal, remember, the purpose of the journal is to give a thorough explanation of exactly why are you transferring that money that belongs to the lender and transferring to the purchaser. So the journal will tell us why there was that transfer between clients' ledgers. So you need a journal to complete that. Does it matter which account you start with or not? It doesn't matter, as long as you can do all of them. Yes, we are now, that 150 now, we are no longer holding it for the lender. We are holding it for the purchaser. Correct, Sipe? That's exactly the case, because we've transferred that debt from the lender to the purchaser. Therefore, we are holding that money for the purchaser now, no longer for the lender. Correct. Now, that was step number 3. Let's go to step number 4, okay?
Would it have been a different case if the 150 was given to us by Mr. Linda through like a check or cash?
Given to you.
Because I'm trying to figure out if, because remember, if we need to open a fee journal, right, for a second bond, sorry, a trust journal for the second bond.
Yes.
Is it always going to be the case that in regards to a second bond, it'll be this kind of a transaction?
Yes, it should always be that kind of transaction, because if let's say if the lender gives you money.
Yes.
Now, when you receive that money from the lender, it's the lender's money. You will open the lender's trust ledger account, and then the lender says to you, this money that I've given you, you may advance it to the purchaser. Then you will need
so it's going to come from our trust cash book to the relevant account. That's why we're gonna use a trust journal.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Now let's go to step number 4. What do we do at step number 4?
Transfer the purchase price.
Transfer your purchase price.
How much is the purchase price?
500,000.
500,000 rand. Now we are transferring the purchase price from whose trust ledger?
From the purchaser.
From the firm.
Purchasers.
From purchaser's trust ledger also.
Yes. The purchaser's trust.
To whose trust?
From the purchaser's trust ledger.
To the sellers.
Seller's trust ledger. Now you are going to transfer that 500,000 rands from the purchaser's trust ledger account to the seller trust ledger account. What journal do you need?
Trust journal.
Correct. Ziad, you are correct. Mbali, you are correct. Because again, you are transferring from the purchaser's trust to the seller's trust. You need a trust journal. See, I always say, for you to always get it right, trust plus trust means trust. Simple as that. If I'm transferring from one trust to another trust, and therefore the end product should be a trust. Only if you are transferring from one client's trust to the same client's business, that's when you will need a transfer. But it is between two people. You are transferring from one person to another person. It's the money that is being transferred. There must be a trust between those people. You can't give somebody your money if you don't trust them. Okay. But between your two accounts, you can transfer money from your day-to-day account into your trust account. You transfer it. So you're transferring from your trust to your business. Therefore, that's how I always say try to differentiate those two accounts, those journals. If you are transferring from one client's trust to another's trust, if it's from trust to trust, you need a trust journal. If it's from trust to business of the same client, then you are transferring.
Advocate.
Yes.
Are we going to open another trust journal, or are we going to use the same one?
You can use the same one, extend it, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
You can extend the same trust journal. I'm gonna also extend it here. Whether you extend it or you do the new one, doesn't make a difference. Let me just extend it here. Now we are going to transfer the purchase price. And then in this journal, we all agree that you are going to debit the purchaser's trust. And I come here and I say, 26 of 7, debit purchaser's trust and credit seller trust. And this is purchase price.
Yeah, boss.
Now, you look at this journal now. In this journal, you will see that what I have done there, the second one there. Okay.
Advocate, there is someone that is not muted there.
Please remember to mute yourself. Moses.
No, sorry.
Moses, mute yourself, okay? Okay. Now, that is the second journal there. The second journal, I said, debit the purchaser's trust, 500,000 rands, credit the seller's trust, 500,000 rand. And I said transfer of the purchase price, so that's the purchase price. That's your journal. You are transferring from the purchaser's trust to the seller's trust. That's for you recorded that trust journal. You recorded that trust journal, and as it is in your journal, then you can post it to your ledgers. It says there, debit the purchaser's trust. Therefore, let's go to the purchaser's trust ledger account and debit with that 500,000 rand. Then you come here on the purchaser's trust, again the date, 26 of 7, purchase price, 500,000 rands, and then you are going to credit the seller. You are going to credit the seller. Therefore, you debited the purchaser's trust ledger account there with 500,000 rands. debited the purchaser's trust ledger account with 500,000 rands. And then we say, you are going to credit the seller's trust. Let's open the seller's trust now. Let's open the seller's trust ledger. Let's open another T account for the seller's trust. Therefore, seller trust. And on this seller trust, because you debited the purchaser's trust, on the seller's trust, you are going to credit. And then you come here on the credit side, the right-hand side, 26 of 7. You say purchase price. That is 500,000 rands. That is purchaser. And then you credited the seller's trust ledger account. We have just opened the seller's trust ledger there. On that trust ledger, we credited that purchase price of 500,000 rands, and then from the seller, from the purchaser's trust ledger account. That's all you do at step number 4. You transfer the full purchase price from the purchaser's trust ledger account to the seller's trust ledger account. That's why we credited the seller's trust there after having debited the purchaser's trust ledger account. You need to make sure that when you are done with step number 4, the full purchase price must be credited to the seller. When you are done with step number 4, the full purchase price must be credited to the seller. That's very, very important for you to always remember. Okay. Now we go to step number 5. What do we deal with at step number 5? Estate agent. Do we have the estate agent's account on this transaction?
No.
No.
No. If we don't have the estate agent's account, we don't create it. We skip the step. In other words, we don't have an estate agent's account. Estate agent's account is not applicable on this one. Then we can go to step number 6. Now, what do we deal with at step number 6?
It needs fee and VAT if registered for VAT.
Are we registered for VAT in terms of this question?
No.
No.
We assume that we
Registered for
have the
VAT.
estate agent.
Hello?
Can we assume that we have the estate agent?
No, you can't. If the statement doesn't tell you about the estate agent, do not assume you've got it. You just don't apply it.
Let's just may you please tell us how we do it in case we have in the question.
Okay. If there was an estate agent in the question, and they say, let's say they say the estate agent's account is 20,000 rand. That means you will have had to pay the estate agent, is it so? Now, when you make a payment, and you are going to make this payment on behalf of your client, when you make a payment, from which account do you get money to make a payment? On behalf of your client?
The trust.
The trust. That means you will have credited your trust cash book with the 20,000 rand, which is for the estate agent. You will have paid the estate agent by crediting your trust cash book, because in the credit side of your trust cash book, that is where you make a payment. And then you say, on whose behalf am I paying this 20,000 rand estate agent's fee? And then we say, you are paying on behalf of the seller. Correct, Mbali? That means, who were you going to debit now after crediting your trust cash book?
Seller's trust.
You will have to debit the seller's trust. Therefore, that means the transaction will have been credit on your trust cash book and a debit on the seller's trust ledger account. And remember, if it's a transaction like that from the cash book, you don't need to record a journal. Okay, and then we
Advocate,
okay.
please. Advocate.
Yes.
Please, may I excuse me? Please, may I see your you just discussed point number 4, transfer of purchase price. May I see your document there, please? Let's just portray it again.
Transfer of the purchase price.
Yes.
We started first by recording a journal.
Yes.
And that journal is a trust journal. As you can see here, at the bottom, the one at the bottom there, is a trust journal. In that trust journal, you say debit the purchase as trust because you are transferring the value of the purchase price from the purchaser. That's why you debit the purchase as trust. And then you credit the seller's trust because after this step, the seller's trust ledger account must be credited with the full purchase price. And then as you can see, it says purchase price or transfer of the value of the purchase price. That is your journal. That's what you record first. The journal where you debit the client from whom you are transferring, which is the purchaser, and you credit the clients to whom you are transferring, and that is the seller.
Thank you.
After you have done it like this, and then you record it in your ledgers, you will see here on the purchaser's trust ledger account here, we have debited that 500,000 rands. We have debited the 500,000 rands, and then we need to open a ledger account for the seller. We need to open a ledger account for the seller. We didn't have one, isn't so?
Sorry,
But
Advocate.
I think we already have one.
I've got a question, Advocate.
Okay, I'll be with you just now. Let me just try to find my account here because they just get lost. I don't know what. Oh, here it is. And then we opened the seller's trust ledger account here. As you can see, the seller's trust ledger account is credited with 500,000 rand as it is in your journal. Okay. The question, yes? Somebody said he's got a question.
Yes, I just wanted to find out whether we're jumping the gun by first creating the journal accounts between the seller and the purchaser, in the sense that by definition, a journal entails the non-cash transfer between two ledger accounts.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, we had not yet created the journal, the ledger account for the seller. So meaning, by virtue of having created that journal transaction, it means we overjumped the gun. Am I correct?
No. What is happening is that I always say you can start it either way you want to start. Why I encourage starting with the journal is that most of the time when we record this transaction in the ledgers, students immediately after recording the ledger, they forget the journals. So my style has always been start with the journal, and when the journal direct you what to do, and you post it to your ledgers. But if you are able to record it in the ledgers first, and you're sure you are not gonna forget to do the journals, that's still okay.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yes. The person goes, I don't have a fee journal as yet.
Advocate, do we debit the purchaser's trust ledger account with 500,000?
Yes, we debit the purchaser's trust ledger with 500,000.
Okay, I'll be done there.
Okay. Jay, I'll show you just now when we deal with the fee or how you'll deal with that transaction in case you've got a vet. I'll show you just now when we do the fee. Okay. Now we were at step number 4. We just complete that. Step number 5 is not applicable. Let's go to step number 6. What are we dealing with at step number 6? Fees. And they said we are not registered for that. Now let's start here. How much is the fee that you are raising against the purchaser? How much is the fee that we are going to record?
Sorry, advocate.
Yes.
2,000.
Before we get there, did we record the agent's fee? Where is it? Sorry.
There's no
agent's fee.
Oh.
There's no agent, there's no provision for the agent on this one, and therefore you don't make provision for the agent's fee.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Now the question is, how much is the fee that we are raising against the purchaser?
2,000.
2,000 and we all agree on the 2,000 rands.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you are correct. The fee is 2,000 rand. Janine? And the fee is 2,000 rands. Let me just get some here. Janine and Keishia, I'm going to explain just for you now. The fee, oh, is that?
July 26.
Yes.
Second to the last paragraph.
Just want to try something here. Okay. The fee is 2,000 rands.
For the purchase.
Now, if you look at July the 6th, they said you received 25,000 rand for the transfer and bond costs, isn't so? After you paid your transfer costs, how much was the balance?
It was 7,000
rand. You are correct. Can we take 7,000 rand as part of our fee or as the fee?
No, you take part of it.
Which is how much?
2,000.
Sorry, advocate.
Yes.
Where are you getting 7,000 rands? I fell behind there.
25,000 rands that you received at the pro forma cost.
Yes.
Minus the cost of the transfer duty of 18,000 that you paid on the 8th.
Okay, thank you, sir.
The balance will be 7,000 rand. Because remember, yesterday I said, if the statement does not tell you how much the fee is, let's say for instance, on the same account, if the statement were read as follow, it will have said, your account is please listen.
Yeah. By die accident. Met binnekant wil. Ja. Ja. Los mee. Ja. Is it los mee? Ja, so on the pool.
I'm not sure if you guys are talking to me or you're talking to yourself that side.
Yeah.
Please mute yourself. Can you mute yourself? Shilenge, please mute yourself.
Wat gaan dan? Is niet die phone. Die phone die kan dan niet bellen. KJ. Zonder mijn toestemming.
KJ, can you please mute yourself?
Okay,
if you can hear us, are you able to kick him out of the system, please? We can't go on like this. KJ.
Those people, please.
KJ. KJ. KJ.
FA and Carol on yes.
Kick him out.
Is unable to kick that person out, please.
Please, people, let's just work together. Lizo, can you mute yourself again? Also, please, people, let's work together. KJ, we have been like this. We haven't done anything for almost 5 minutes because you decided to unmute yourself and speak to somebody else, and we can't do anything if you are unmuted and you are busy talking with other people there. Please, people, we can't go on like this. If you know you are going to use your phone in front of your computer or your laptop, the first thing that you need to do, make sure you are muted. You can't speak while you are unmuted. We haven't been doing anything for 5 minutes trying to tell you to mute yourself, and you are not listening to us because your concentration, your attention is not with us, it's with somebody else there. Please, let's not do it.
Advocate.
Let's proceed then.
Advocate.
Yes.
I was lost from step 7 where you pay yourself because of network connections.
Okay, we are not there as yet. Now we are still on step number 6.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now let's proceed. Let's proceed now. At step number 6, I was still explaining how you determine how much your fee is. Now I am saying, Tseko, sorry about that. What I'm saying is, if the statement does not tell you how much the fee is, you must go to the day when you receive your pro forma costs. In this statement, we received 25,000 rands. And then we paid 18,000 rands transfer costs or transfer duty. The balance is 7,000 rand. That means 25,000 rands minus 18,000 rand. The balance is 7,000 rands. Now the question goes, at the end of the question it says, you debit the purchaser a fee of 2,000 rand. It doesn't say a further fee. It says you debit the purchaser a fee of 2,000 rands. Now, you also debit the lender a fee of 300 rands. Remember what's very important. You either take the specified fee or whatever is left when you pay your transfer costs. You don't take the two together. Yesterday we mixed them together because the statement was very clear. A further fee. It didn't say a fee, it said a further fee. That's why we added the 10,000 plus the 300 rands. In this case, they are very specific. Despite the fact that you've got an option of the fee of that 7,000 rand. Instead of taking 7,000 rand, they say, no, you can't have a fee of 7, your fee is 2,000 rand. So please remember, it's one of the two. It's either the specified fee, in this case 2,000 rands, or the unspecified fee of 7,000 rand if there was no specified fee. Okay, that simply means in this case, our fee is 2,000 rand, isn't so?
Sorry, advocate.
So you undercharge yourself, you underpay yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry, advocate. What assumption are we making about the bond?
What is what?
For transfer and bond cost.
The transfer and bond cost.
Yes, so I'm saying what assumption are we making about the bond cost since there's no value for the bond cost?
No, there is, because remember, it's like receiving a deposit from your client before working on the matter. That does not mean the deposit that you have received, you are going to use all of it.
Okay.
You must use half of it, and half of it you pay back to your client.
Yeah, assist a bit.
Yes.
No, I'm just assisting on the issue of the gentleman that you underpay yourself. This is just an exercise accounting, but it's not the normal practice exercises.
Correct. Yeah, it's just an exercise. Just an exercise. Now we are going to do a fee journal. We are going to record a fee journal. Let's all record a fee journal quickly. We are also going to run out of time again, but we are almost there. Let's do our fee journal. Let's record a fee journal. So this is a fee journal. So in this fees journal, you are going to debit the purchase of business. Fees always goes with business. And then your credit fee. You can say fee collected. You can say fee collected. Let's quickly want to do something here. This is your fee journal. Fee journal, you debit purchase of business, credit fee. Okay, now we all agree that your fee is 2,000 rands against the purchaser. Therefore, in the fees journal, you're going to debit the purchase of business 2,000 rands and your credit fee here 2,000 rands. In other words, your journal is going to be like this. That's the fee journal. Debit the purchase of business 2,000 rand and credit fee an amount of 2,000 rands. 2,000 rands. That is your fee journal. Now in this fee journal, as it is, you must post it to your ledgers. Now, it says here, debit the purchase of business. Do we have the purchase of business on all our accounts?
No, we have to open one.
No.
We need to open the purchase of business ledger account. Let's open the purchase of business now. Let's open a T account for the purchase of business. Okay. Now for purchase.
Queen. Queen, don't try me there.
Okay. Okay, purchase of business. And then on the purchase of business, we are going to 26 here of 7. That's the fee of 2,000 rands. Fee of 2,000 rands. And then, as the journal says there, debit the purchase of business. And then you debit the purchase of business here with that fee of 2,000 rands. And the journal says credit fee 2,000 rands. And therefore, let's go and credit fee, open a fee ledger again. Let's open a fee ledger. And you say fee. And then on the fee ledger here, you are going to credit again. On the credit side, 26 of 7, 2,000 rands. And purchaser business or purchaser. And that is how you post those transactions to your ledgers. Debit the purchaser business and credit your fee ledger as it is in your journal. You simply post it to your ledgers. Nothing extraordinary. Nothing extraordinary. Now, as it is, then we are done with your fee in respect of the purchaser. Now, let's do the same thing with the lender. How much is the fee that we are raising against the lender?
300.
300. Not the seller.
300.
No, not the seller, the lender.
300.
300. And therefore, we need to record it again in the fee journal. Let's go to that fee journal, correct Mbali, and in the fee journal, because this is against the lender, you debit the lender business. You debit the lender business, and then you credit your fee. And again says fees collected. Collected fee. And we all agree that the fee is 300 rands. And that is the fee journal in respect of that 300 rands. You debit the lender business, and then you credit your fee, and again that fee rent or fee collected. That's your fee journal. Now, as it is, you post it to your ledgers. Debit the lender business. Do we have the lender's business ledger?
No.
No. Let's open another ledger there. So yes, a ledger for purchase of business.
Lender.
Sorry, for the lender. Yes, correct. Let's open another ledger here and name it lender business. Lender business. And then you open the lender business, and it says that in that lender business, in the journal, it says debit the lender's business. And then you go to the lender's business ledger account, you debit there with that 300 rands. You can see the 300 is debited there. And then after you debit it there, and then the journal says credit the fee. Then let's go to the fee ledger. Let's go to the fee ledger, and then we credit. The fee ledger is here. The same fee ledger that you have opened. 300 rands, lender. The same fee ledger that you have opened. You don't open the second fee ledger. The same fee ledger that you have opened, just underneath that 300, fee of 300, and then lender. Then it tells you that that is the fee that you raise against the lender. Okay, just quickly, somebody asked a question to say, if you are registered for VAT, how are you going to deal with the VAT? Just for 1 minute. How much is the 15% of 2,000 rands? Just calculate it. Don't record it in the notes there because the statement does not make provision for VAT. I want you to just calculate for me the 15% of
300.
300 rands. This is how you will have recorded it if you had to make provision for VAT. You will have credited your fee for 2,000 rands and then credited your VAT for 300 rand, and your client must pay both the fees and the VAT, and then you debit the purchase of business 2,300 rand. That is if you were registered for VAT. If you were registered for VAT. Okay, now let's skip that quickly so that we can finish. I know we are already out of time.
Okay, so can I see that paper that you just removed now? So, yes,
Okay,
just a
this
second.
one, that is if you are registered for VAT. Now, let's quickly go to step number 7. Let's quickly go to step number 7. What are we doing at step number 7?
We pay ourselves.
Pay ourselves. And before we pay ourselves, we need to know how much we are owed. And I said to you, when you get to step number 7, which accounts you balance first to see how much you are owed?
My clients.
Clients what? Trust or business?
Trust.
Trust.
You want to see how much somebody owes you, how much your client owes you. Where are you going to get the balance of what you are owed?
Fee journal.
Business.
Business.
The purchaser's trust
business.
account.
Business.
The purchaser's
Just
trust
business
account.
account because the purchaser is our client.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Okay, let me quickly explain it so that we can move fast. Now the client comes to your office, he gives you the deposit, isn't so? Where do you receive that deposit?
In the cash
account.
In the
Cash book, correct. After debiting your trust cash book, which account you credit?
the purchase trust account.
The purchaser.
Trust or business?
Trust.
The trust.
And that tells you that that money that you are recording in the trust belongs to who?
The purchaser.
Client. That means you owe the clients. You owe the clients the money recorded in their trust ledgers. Now you raise the fee against your client. Who is entitled to the fee?
You.
You are entitled to the fee, correct? And when you raise the fee against your client, which account you debit to the fee?
The business account.
The business account.
The business account. That's where you record what the client owes you. Therefore, it means when you have to see how much the client owes you, which account you balance?
The client
business.
Client's business, correct. Now we must go and balance the purchaser's business ledger account. Let's start there. Let's go and balance the purchaser's business. How much is the balance on the purchaser's business?
2,000.
2,000.
2,300 with VAT.
2,000 debit.
Where does the VAT comes from now?
No, it's 2,000. 2,000, there's no VAT.
There's no VAT. It's 2,000 rands. Now, because we know that the purchaser owes us 2,000 rands, now it means we must transfer the 2,000 rands from the purchaser's trust ledger account to the purchaser's business ledger account, isn't so? Now, when you transfer from the purchaser's trust to the same purchaser's business, you need a journal. What journal is that?
Transfer journal.
A transfer journal.
Transfer journal, correct. We need a transfer journal. Let's record a transfer journal quickly. Let's record a transfer journal quickly. Let's record a transfer journal. In the transfer journal, you are going to debit the purchaser's trust. And then you credit the same purchaser business. Then you can say, this is your transfer of value. The transfer of value. You debit the purchaser's trust with the value of the fee, which is 2,000 rands. And credit business the same amount, 2,000 rand. That is that transfer journal. In this transfer journal, you debit the purchaser's trust, 2,000 rands, and credit the purchaser business with the same 2,000 rands. And as it is in that journal, you go and to your ledgers. Record it as it is in your ledgers. Let's go to the purchaser's trust. Let's go to the purchaser's trust and debit that 2,000 rands. 26 of 7 value 2,000 rands, and we are going to credit purchaser business. Then you come here on this purchase of business. Sorry, purchase of trust. You debit that 2,000 rands. You debit that 2,000 rands on the purchase of trust. And then you are going to credit the purchase of business. Let's go to the purchase of business on the credit side. 26 of 7. That value 2,000 rands. Purchase of trust. And now you go to the purchase of trust ledger account. Sorry, yeah, the purchase of business ledger account, and then you are going to credit the purchase of business ledger account with the same amount of 2,000 rands. You are going to credit the purchase of business ledger account with 2,000 rands.
What do we name it?
You can just name it as value. I always make it simple to say value. You can just you can say transfer of your fees, and you can even say refer it to the transfer journal. Even if you say transfer journal, we know that that's the value that came from the transfer journal. Okay. Now you debited the purchase of trust, you credited the purchase of business. That is step number 7.1. Now let's go to 7.2. What do we do at 7.2? What do we do at 7.2?
Credit the trust cash book.
Yes, we said with the same amount in 7.1, you credit your trust cash book. In other words, you are making a payment from your trust cash book by debiting your trust cash book here with 2,000 rands. And then who are you going to credit?
No, I'm lost.
Business cash.
Business cash.
Business account. You credit business account.
Now remember,
Sorry, business ledger.
Remember, what you have done is that you have transferred what the client owes you from their trust ledger account to their business ledger account. But that was a non-cash transaction, isn't so? Now you need to get this money into your business account. That's why I say at 7.2. With the same amount you dealt with at 7.1, now do the cash transfer. How do you make a payment? You make a payment from the credit side of your trust cash book. Who are you paying? You are paying your own business account. That's why you credit your trust cash book and debit your business cash book, and therefore payment will have been done. That's why I say here, with the same amount in 7.1, which is 2,000 rands, debit, credit your trust cash book. Therefore, you are making money. Now you are making actual transfer of funds.
Okay.
And who are you going to debit? Who is receiving this money?
It's a business account.
Your business cash book.
Yes. Business cash book.
Business cash
And
book.
we need to open one because we haven't opened one yet.
Yes, open your business cash book.
So, like I said, it.
Open your business cash book quickly. Business cash book. And then in the business cash book, you receive that money by debiting. 26 of 7. It's the purchaser. 2,000 rands XTCB. Now you have opened your business cash book there. Okay. Business cash book, and then you debited it with that money that you have been paid by the purchaser, which is 2,000 rands. And as soon as you record it there, it means we are done with step number 7 in respect of the purchaser. Now we need to do the same thing with respect to the lender.
Oh, okay.
Let's do the same thing. Let's repeat the same step. Step number 7. We said When you get to step number 7, firstly you need to determine how much you are owed, isn't so?
Yes.
Which account do you balance to say how much you are owed?
Advocate.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. We are debiting the business cash book.
Say what is happening?
We are debiting the business cash book.
Yes, you are debiting the business cash book with the 2,000 rands. Because remember, in the business cash book, debit means you are receiving.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. That's where I was confused.
Okay, okay.
Hi, Advocate. Sorry to disturb. I've just got to run because I'm in the office. I'm just worried about the curfew time. Just want to find out from you if we are still meeting tomorrow and if we are, at what time.
Look, tomorrow we will not meet. I will speak to Zuki that if all of you will be available, let's meet next week, Friday and Saturday.
Friday we're on.
Okay, thank you.
We can do the whole weekend because, again, despite the fact that I've got a minor commitment, I've seen that most of you said it's a short notice, I won't make it, they already have commitment. So if we make it next week, then everybody will be able to arrange themselves.
I thank
Friday
you.
we have
Okay.
we have work. Friday.
Let's quickly run. I want us to finish this exercise before I've passed. Okay, let's do the same thing with the lender. Let's go and balance the lender's business ledger account. Let's go to the lender's business and balance it. How much is reflecting on the lender's business?
300.
300
rand. 300.
Yeah, that means the lender only owes us 300 rands. Now, because we are owed 300 rand, we need to transfer the 300 rand from the lender's trust ledger account to the lender's business ledger account. Now, when you transfer from client's trust to the same client's business, what journal do you need?
Transfer journal.
Transfer journal.
Correct, transfer journal. Now let's go and record a transfer journal. Let's go and record a transfer journal. In that transfer journal, you are going to debit the lender trust. And then you credit the lender business. Again, that is that value. Transfer of value. 26 of 7. And then you debit the lender's trust 300 rands, credit the lender business 300 rands. And that is that fee journal in respect of the lender. Debit the lender the lender's trust 300 rand, credit the lender business 300 rands. Now, as it is, you post it to your ledgers. It is there, debit the lender's trust. Now we go to the lender's trust ledger account, we are going to debit that 300 rand. 26 of 7. Value 300 rands. And then you are going to credit the lender business. Then you have debited the lender's trust here with that amount of 300 rands. Debited the lender's trust 300 rands, and now we must go and credit the lender's business the same amount as per the journal. 26 of 7 value 300 rands for lender business. And then you go and then you debit, you credit the lender's business ledger account here with the same amount of 300 rands. You credit the lender's business with the same amount of 300 rand. That is your step number 7.1, the value step. You transferred from the client's trust to the same client's business. what the client owed you in business. Now you can go to 7.2. That says with the same amount in 7.1, and we all agree that the amount in 7.1 is 300 Rand. With the same amount in 7.1, you are going to credit your trust cash book. Therefore, lender, 300 Rands, and then you are going to credit your business cash book. Then you go to your trust cash book. On the trust cash book on the credit side. On the credit side, you credited there 300 Rands by the lender, and that 300 Rands now, because you have credited your trust cash book, now you must debit your business cash book. Same amount there, and 300 Rands. Therefore, extra trust cash book. And then you go. And then you go to your